Hello everyone, welcome to a brand new episode of the Sports Insight with your host Alamdar Khan. And yes, as you know, we talk about sports from all across the globe. You guys can surely reach out to us on our social media handle, which is at the rate of Indus News Sports. That basically works both for Twitter and Instagram. But anyways, we'll go to the headlines first. Yes, Pakistan versus Zimbabwe. The second T20 will be played on Friday. Pakistan still leading the series 1-0. Pakistan captain and star batsman Babar Azam has advanced one more place, coming to the second position in the ICC Men T20 International Player Ratings. From the world of Scottish League, Celtics and Aberdeen draw 1-1. And yes, those were the headlines. And yes, as discussed earlier in the headlines, Pakistan versus Zimbabwe, the first, obviously, T20 was a very thrilling match for the fact that obviously Pakistan is there and still is ready for the second match of the T20s. And to discuss the insights of the first T20 match, we have with us Zimbabwe cricketer, and it's an honor to have him right now with us all the way from Zimbabwe. Hello, Ryan Burl, for being a part of the show.
Hi guys, thanks so much for having me.
Great. All right, Ryan, we'll surely be talking about, first of all, thank you and big congratulations to Zimbabwe for hosting this tournament. I think due to the COVID times, it has been a tougher journey, and I think it's after that. This is the first time Pakistan is touring Zimbabwe. Thank you very much for having us, first of all.
No, you're welcome. It's obviously we've got good relationships with Pakistan, and it's awesome to have them here in our home country. It's been a while.
Right. So, okay, I'll talk about the first T20, which was surely very interesting because of the fact that, it kind of came up to a point that only one player from our side managed to score 82, which was obviously Mohammad Rizwan. And obviously, because as it was the first T20, there was not a lot of practice, there was not a lot of conditioning to the situation and scenarios. And definitely for Zimbabwe, for your team as well, it was the first step towards hosting. So how do you see the first match? It was super thrilling indeed. And there was a point in between when I remember watching you bat and when you hit that six and, we said that, okay, things are going in the right direction. So what's your take on the entire situation on the first T20 and how do you see and plan for the second T20 against Pakistan?
Obviously, first of all, congrats to Pakistan for coming out the victors. It was obviously a very low-scoring game, and I think it was pretty indicative of the pitch being quite slow. So all credit to Rizwan. He tried to play a few big shots early on, and he quickly adjusted to the pace of the pitch, whereas maybe a bit of the other Pakistan players didn't quite. And he really did manipulate the field very well. He kept getting a lot of twos into the leg side. And, it was just important for them to have a guy to just bat through. And, obviously very fortunate for him to do that. In terms of the Zimbabwe side, chasing it down, it's those 150 targets there and thereabouts. They're always quite tricky because it's not a big total and you're kind of not really sure what pace to go at. And just us losing wickets at regular intervals didn't help our chase at all. So in fairness, all credit to the Pakistan bowlers at the end. They really bowled good depth. So it's something that Zimbabwe cricketers will be looking to improve on the next game. It's not often that we'll bowl Pakistan out for 150 in a T20 game.
Right.
So to restrict them to that was obviously a big bonus for us, and we were really positive. We were hoping to walk away with the win, but it just wasn't to be our day. But we've obviously taken positives from it.
Right.
So there's 2 more games in the series left. So hopefully you can put up a big fight and get a win.
Absolutely. We surely would want to have it on a more thrilling side. And let's talk about Sean Williams, obviously the captain of your team. I'm sure he would have devised an interesting strategy, and not to even forget Luke Jongwe actually managed to coming up to that point of coming up after the middle order, it becomes more pressurizing for the batsman to chase that. But obviously if we see how he was actually trying to put his best, he was trying to keep the bat, he was trying the other player to obviously switch sides. But I think it was, as you said, that it was a slower pitch, and a biggest plus on our side was Usman Qadir. I think one of the leggies who actually managed to give those balls and grab those wickets that were actually crucial for at least for Pakistan.
Yeah, very well bowled, Kadir. I mean, I think it was most of his googlies that got the wickets. I know he did register cover with a googly. He almost got Luke Jongwe first ball with a googly. I think it just went over off stump. Craig Irvin, I think he top edge trying to reverse sweep another googly. So yeah, well played to Kadir. It's obviously at the beginning of his career, and he's doing well. He's a bright prospect. It was just I think in terms of our chase, Sean Williams. I mean, Sean, when he lost his wicket, it was a very bad time. Obviously Craig as well. He was a set batsman, so they'll be disappointed. They're senior players. They would have hoped to get over the line, but the coming games, I'm sure they will put their foot down and do the hard work and get the team over the line.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think the second match would surely be more interesting because of the fact that I think that now Zimbabwe can clearly see the strategies, the pros and the cons of having the next match against Pakistan. Obviously, we learned from these matches to learn these experiences that can actually bring the team for the victory side.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a known fact that Pakistan have obviously got quite a few quick bowlers and stuff like that. So I think it was a bit of a surprise for guys to obviously start losing their wickets to the spinners, where as they'll be more accustomed to spinners, and obviously they'll be more wary of the Pakistan strength, which is at the moment I think they've got 4 or 5 guys that are bowling 145 plus. So we've done our homework and we've worked hard. So yeah, looking forward.
I think it would be surely it can take its toll, to be very honest, when we look at the entire situations, because I am sure 100%, as I said, that even though 150, and as you mentioned, 150 is not a huge target, but the point is managing to score, because we, as you've seen, our captain Babar Azam, if we talk about him, he just crossed. Obviously, he reached the ODI top batsman, and now he just came up to the ranking on number 2. So it's really going to be interesting to see how Babar Azam gets into his form if he manages to do so, because I think the early fall of wickets is probably the only way out to have that trickle-down effect for Pakistani batting lineup.
Yeah, Babar's a class batsman. Well done to Blessing Muzarabani for getting him out. It was a pretty easy catch for me, just had to stand there at point.
Right.
But yeah, no, Babar's a class batsman. He's obviously a guy that we've done a lot of homework on, and we would always try and get him out early, because he is a player that can damage teams that he comes against. So yeah.
Interesting. So do you guys have devised any specific strategy that maybe this time you would still want to continue, for instance, if you ball first, because obviously chasing becomes technically more hard and more pressurizing. So what do you guys see, or how do you guys see the next upcoming T20?
Generally at Harare Sports Club, it is usually a wicket is better to bat on second. So it's just statistically wise as well. We'd probably look to bat second again, and just hope sure that we can get over the line and again restrict Pakistan to a low total. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so very much, Ryan, for being a part of the show and sharing your insights on the first match and the upcoming T20s.
No, thanks so much for having me, guys.
Great. Talking about Pakistan visiting Zimbabwe has been tricky for the fact that, we've seen the performance the last time, and, there are too many more matches coming up, to be honest. But the first performance, obviously, it probably came down to a point of Mohammad Rizwan's consistency to bring us where we are. But anyways, obviously, Babar Azam himself has been proving himself as the right captain for us. But we definitely want more in-depth analysis about the whole situation of Pakistan versus Zimbabwe. So to discuss this with is Mohisha, with a super brilliant experience from his lifetime. Sir, thank you for being on the show. So your take, sir, how do you see Pakistan versus Zimbabwe, the first T20 match?
Yeah. The thing is that it was a new country for them. Just Pakistan has played their one-day in T20 series in South Africa, so the condition was totally different. When you go from one country to another, and you didn't play a single practice match and straight go into the series, any series, one-day series or T20 series, it usually always difficult to adjust yourself straight away.
Right.
And that's what happened with Pakistan yesterday. Right. Though Pakistan came out victorious, and that is that was because of fabulous batting performance by Rizwan.
Right.
But the thing is, it has never been easy to go into another country, get adjust to the conditions so early.
Right.
Because of COVID, because of the current scenario,
Right.
it is pretty difficult to arrange practice matches, to arrange matches with the county or first-class teams well before going into the international cricket. That's what happened with Pakistan, and the Pakistan bit struggled at the earlier stages of the match, put into the bait first by Zimbabwe skipper St. Williams. But the thing is, I think, as Rizwan said after the match, that even after scoring around 150, Pakistan scored around 149. They were confident that Pakistan will go on to win the series, and that's what exactly what happened.
Right.
Pitches, when you talk about the condition and pitches in Zimbabwe, they are a bit different to what we have found in South Africa.
True.
South Africa is more of friendly batting tracks.
Right.
I've been to South Africa and covered many series. There are almost 6-7 series in South Africa.
Right.
And I've noticed that, Wanderers pitch and Centurion pitch, these are a bit different to what you find in Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe is a bit a tricky double pace surface where batting has never been easier for any visiting side unless and until there is a good sunshine and a lot of cricket you play there and get adjust to the bounce and pace of the wicket.
Right.
So Pakistan, good job by winning this match and starting the series on a winning note.
Right. But, talking about, let's come over to the point of, obviously it would definitely be difficult. We surely are looking forward for an interesting match on Friday. But what's your take on, obviously, let's talk about our living legend, Babar Azam. He obviously managed to come up to a point, obviously, against the Proteas, making that maiden century. What a brilliant performance back then. But then now Babar Azam is also on the number 2 in the T20 matches. So how do you see the evolution of Babar Azam and, him coming up to a point of not only proving himself as the right captain for the team and obviously the right person to lead our team on the track, and, where do you see him in the long run in leading Pakistan as a captain?
Babar Azam is the best thing happening to Pakistan cricket during the last 5 years.
Right.
He has proved that he is one of the best batsmen around the world. And he did that by ousting Virat Kohli from the top of the ladder in the one-day ranking list.
Right.
Virat Kohli has been occupying that list for almost more than 3 years now.
Right.
And toppling him and becoming the number 1 ODI batsman is not a small thing. He has done that with his fabulous batting performance of late in recent series. And he has proved again that he is the best man. The way he has scored century, T20 century in South Africa was, I think, one of the greatest batting display even I have seen during my 35 year of journalistic career. So more people, more critics throughout the world, they praise the way Babar Azam batted there, his shots, his timing of the ball, his comprehension and his ability to adjust there and play a match-winning knock for Pakistan. He is a young guy. He has got age at his hands. And I think in days and years to come, he would break many, many more records.
Sure, we're absolutely looking forward for that. Sir, what we'll do is we'll take a quick break, and once we return from the break, we'll surely have a bit more word about the team and the establishment of the team and where exactly do you see these youngsters evolving. We'll see you guys after the break. And yes, welcome back from the break. And before the break, we surely were discussing a lot of evolvement of the new players in Pakistan cricket team. Obviously, we were talking about, and we still are talking about, Pakistan versus Zimbabwe tour with Mohit Shah's amazing wisdom. So, sir, we were initially discussing, and I would surely want to discuss more with regards to the evolvement of the cricketers, because the young cricketers need that support from their seniors to go where they should be going. If we see an evolution perspective let's talk about Mohammad Rizwan. He has come up, he's been evolving slowly and gradually, and he's come up to a point of proving himself as a Mr. Consistent. If we look back into the victory that actually took place in South Africa, it was Mohammad Rizwan and Babar Azam together that managed to chase down that 200 plus score against the Proteas. So what's your take on Mohammad Rizwan's evolution?
Look, Mohammad Rizwan has been serving Pakistan cricket since the New Zealand team in a fabulous manner.
Right.
The way he handled New Zealand quickies there in the absence of Babar Azam in New Zealand was a really fantastic thing from the Pakistan perspective. He has single-handedly, I think, took the challenge back to the New Zealand pacers in those conditions, which were a bit tougher, not like the one which are a bit friendlier here in South Africa. But those, conditions for a batsman were a bit tougher, and Rizwan even performed there. So from there, straight away to home series against South Africa, he has played exceptionally well there, and he carried that form and to South Africa in away series. So Rizwan is becoming one of the forte when it comes to Pakistan batting. Now you can depend on him. Now you can say that he is there to take the brunt of Pakistani batting lineup.
True.
And he is doing with utmost success. The best thing about Rizwan is that he is one of the fittest cricketers in the Pakistan side. And I think whenever it comes to, showing your fitness, he stands out and he shows everyone that what the fitness is all about. Even if look at him, even he was fasting when he scored this match-winning innings. He was fasting when he scored the match-winning inning in South Africa.
Absolutely.
So, and he stayed there in one of the T20 matches we played in South Africa. He stayed there for a whole match. First 20 overs as a wicketkeeper, then 20 overs as a batsman.
True.
So,
very true.
So I think one of the best batsmen Pakistan has produced in recent past, and he is, I think, success. If even we were talking to Misbah for yesterday, and he said when you blame me as a coach, when you blame me that you are not grooming the players like Heather, the players like Asif, they are not delivering, they are not coming up to the mark.
Right.
You should praise me for helping Rizwan, helping Fakhr to become one of the better batsmen now. So
absolutely.
He was absolutely right. The thing is, if coach is not delivering or players are not delivering, few players not delivering, there are batsmen in Pakistan team who are delivering, who have been supported well by this team management, by Misbah-ul-Haq, Yunus Khan, and Waqar Yunus, and they are, I think, working on them, and they are trying to give a really competitive look to the Pakistan team for the forthcoming World Cup to be held in India in 4 or 5 months' time.
Right. Anyway, sir, thank you very much, Moisha, for being a part of the show. And yes, these youngsters are surely going to add wisdom and colors for the upcoming World Cup. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. That was pretty much about it with regards to the world of cricket and it's happening. But not only that, we surely wanted to talk about the world of football. There's so much happening. But we quickly jump over to the Scottish League. And yes, to discuss the Scottish League, we have with us Lawrence Conley. Thank you very much. A big Celtic fan. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on the show. It's
awesome.
Great to be here.
Great.
Hope you like the flat behind me.
Awesome. All right, Lawrence, we'll start off with yesterday's match, obviously, against Aberdeen. Celtic versus Aberdeen, 1-1. We'll surely be talking more about the detailed analysis when it comes to Celtic's performances and the standings. But what's your take on the previous match that actually happened? And, the substitutes Header actually managed to bring it to 1-1. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I mean, it was very much a nothing to play for game for Celtic. They're going to finish second in the league this year. This game really doesn't have any bearing on it. Celtic had most of the ball, but didn't really play with much urgency.
Right.
Odsonne Edouard, our star striker, who'll probably depart in the summer, missed a hatful of chances. And when he did have the ball in the net, it was wrongly called offside, which would have brought it back to one each. Thankfully, Super Lee Griffiths comes off the bench and scores a header in the closing moments to rescue a point there. But really, it was just it was a nothing game for us. Perhaps one of the highlights was seeing one of Celtic's youngsters, Karamoko Dembele, who has been much vaunted but has yet to sign a new contract with the club. But it was good to see him get some game time yesterday.
Interesting. But obviously, being more into the Celtic analysis and obviously being a big supporter of Celtic, would you kindly just give a clear situation analysis with regards to obviously yesterday's performance? As you discussed, there were a lot of chances, but when it comes to situations like these, I'll definitely jump over to the previous match as well. But on yesterday's match, where did you see the actual workforce missing? Obviously, if it were Celtic's victory last night, it would have been more interesting to know. But what do you think what actually Celtic was or had missing in that match?
So Celtic were missing a bit of energy, really. And I think that comes from when there's nothing to play for. There's a number of players in the team that are on loan or will definitely be leaving in the summer. And it kind of showed in a somewhat lethargic, pedestrian performance.
Right.
As you'd expect, Celtic had most of the ball, with most of the shots on target. I think Aberdeen's a tough place to go, but to have 71% of the ball,
right,
and 23 shots compared to 9,
right.
We dominated the game, although we gave Aberdeen a few chances.
Right.
I think there's something
the possession, having the possession and still not managing to get that victory is surely, when you compare a 70% possession to a 30%, there's a big difference, big margin. And, other than that, Aberdeen obviously still managing to, continue their journey as, leaving the match, ending the match at 1-1. It's surely getting hard for Celtics to go on the next upper level, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Aberdeen were hopeful, they'd still something to play for yesterday. That they were hoping to get a win to help their cause for third place. It looks like they'll finish fourth with this draw. So Celtic really didn't have anything to play for. And I think that the players struggled to raise themselves for this particular game. It was perhaps lacking a bit of effort on the players' side. And little bit of luck. If you've got 23 shots and goals, you're expected more than one of them to go in.
Right. Lawrence, would you like to add in more with regards to the match that actually took place? Obviously, I'm talking about Rangers versus Celtic, and obviously that's one of the most crucial matches for any fan from the Rangers or the Celtics. What's your take on that match? 2-0. It's been a hard journey so far.
Yeah, it's been almost just over a year since we beat Rangers. Again, slightly more of the ball, 56% possession. But this was in the Cup, and it was really Celtic's last chance of a trophy this season. Rangers scored early on. Defensive mistake, then a deflection that falls kindly to Stephen Davis, who overhead kick and puts it in the Celtic net. From there, it's really an uphill battle for Celtic, and Celtic's left back is on loan from AC Milan. Diego Laxalt was struggling all game, facing Aribo. Beating the outside by Aribo, the ball was crossed in, and Celtic's right back, who's on loan from Everton, John Joe Kenny, diverts the ball into the net to make it 2-0 before half time. Rangers don't really have to chase the match then when it's sitting at 2-0. It's a cup game.
Yeah.
Celtic would need to score 3. So I think Rangers sat back a bit. Second half, Celtic came out. Again, more of the ball and plenty of chances, and even missed a penalty. Odsonne Edouard, a bit off form at the moment. Lee Griffiths was off the bench, won the penalty. Somewhat controversially, the referee decided not to issue a red card or even a second yellow to the player that fouled him, which would have led to a sending off and Celtic playing 20 minutes against the 10-man Rangers. But the referee decided to allow the Rangers player to remain in the park. Celtic, again, more shots than the opposition, 16-9. But, Rangers had done their job early, very much in the first half. When you're 2 goals up,
right,
it's up to the other team to really, it was up to Celtic to come out and do something. And left it too little too late. On another day, they may have scored. If you've got 16 chances, you would expect to get some reward. But heavy touch in the box from Mohamed El Anousi allowed McGregor to smother, and Odsonne Edouard missed a few chances and a penalty. So extremely disappointing to go out with something of a whimper to Rangers. Didn't really do anything. Didn't really look like threatening until Lee Griffiths come on. But again, the game's done and dusted now. Yeah. Celtic will finish goalless for the first time in 10 years.
Right, but we can still hope that obviously this was the second phase of championship itself. Let's hope in the long run they manage to create that environment for themselves, because getting 2 goals scored, but after that not letting nor scoring is surely been a tough journey for Celtics against the Rangers. But anyways, I would want to talk one more thing that I surely wanted to discuss with you, was the initiation of the European Super League and the backlash, and now coming up to a point of a trickle-down effect, because obviously there was a lot of government involvement and bringing it to a point of collapse. So what's your take on the European Super League?
Listen, I think it was an effort by the elite. It's corruption. It should never be allowed to happen. And as much as they've pulled away from it, UEFA seem to have, while that was going on, they've reformed the Champions League, giving these so-called elite clubs even more money and guaranteed places in the Champions League. But we're really looking for it, a political figure in football like Imran Khan that can come in and clear out the corruption. We want someone to fight for the people here. It is the people's sport, and to give true champions, a chance rather than just so-called big clubs a chance.
Right. But anyways, it's still under the collapse. Well, thank you so very much, Lawrence Conley, for being a part of the show and discussing the world of football. We surely have you again for sure.
Listen, it's been a pleasure, and I would just promise my friend Akil to say thank you for the flag behind me.
Yeah.
Hussein, he's a Rangers fan, but he's still my friend.
Right, I agree. Thank you. Thanks to your, obviously, friend who supports the Ranger and you keeping that flag of Pakistan behind you. Thank you so very much.
Listen, thanks. It's been a pleasure. Hope to speak to you again.
Done. That was Lawrence Conley from, obviously, he's discussed everything pretty much with regards to the Scottish League. Not only that, but the collapse of the European Super League. But anyways, this was it. Guys, if you want to reach out to us, you can on our social media handle, which is @IndusNewsSports. Till then, take good care of yourself and bye-bye.